The episode opens in the oppressive darkness of a stone dungeon, where a young woman with long blonde hair, Serafina de Lavillon, wakes up to the harsh reality of her situation. Bound by heavy iron shackles on her wrists and ankles and wearing a thick iron collar, she realizes with a jolt of terror that she has been taken prisoner. Her mind immediately goes to the barbarians she was fighting, lamenting her defeat at the hands of those she considers savages. The setting then shifts to a sprawling, dusty battlefield in the year 1342 Anno Draconis, located in the eastern barbarian territory. This flashback reveals the intense conflict between the knights of the Ildoran kingdom and the local barbarian tribes. Serafina, clad in gleaming silver plate armor with a distinctive winged helmet, is shown commanding the first company of the Eastern Expeditionary Force. The battle is chaotic and brutal. Despite the Ildoran forces utilizing advanced technology like a rifle brigade, the barbarians' sheer physical strength and relentless ferocity are overwhelming. As the Ildoran lines begin to buckle and panic sets in among the volunteer troops, Serafina maintains her composure. She orders her men to pull back their left wing and extend the center into a partial wing formation, attempting a tactical fighting retreat to minimize further casualties. She reflects on the gravity of the situation. 7 years into the 17th Eastern Expedition, a total collapse here would mean they might never see their homeland again. Amidst this desperate struggle, a massive figure emerges from the dust. Vior, the barbarian leader known as the Thundering Voice, towering over his peers and wielding a gargantuan blade that slices through plate armor like paper. Vior mocks the ordinary soldiers and demands a duel with the general in the crystal helmet. Recognizing that his presence prevents any hope of a clean retreat, Serafina accepts the challenge. They clash in a display of raw power versus refined skill. Serafina calls upon the strength of Princess Wistaria, her blade glowing with a brilliant blue energy. But even this magical empowerment isn't enough. Vior overpowers her, shattering her sword and her helmet, leaving her vulnerable and defeated. In a final act of knightly pride, Serafina begs him to kill her, but Vior gazes at her with unsettling golden eyes and refuses, claiming her as his spoils and suggesting he has good uses for her body. Back in the present, Serafina's imagination runs wild with dark possibilities of her fate: forced labor in the fields, or worse, torture to extract military intelligence. However, the dungeon door opens to reveal not a torturer, but a young barbarian girl named Circe. Circe is indifferent to Serafina's demands for information, stating she is merely a servant tasked by her master to ensure the trophy is in a condition to his liking. Much to Serafina's confusion and growing anxiety, Circe proceeds to chain her arms above her head and begins a meticulous cleaning ritual. She wipes away the blood and filth from the battle, commenting on Serafina's surprisingly feminine figure, despite being a warrior. Serafina is then forcibly dressed in an elegant, intricately detailed blue gown and adorned with scented oils, luxuries that seem entirely out of place for a prisoner of war. This unexpected treatment leads Serafina to fear she is being prepared for some bizarre, ritualistic barbarian sacrifice. The tension reaches a breaking point when Vior himself enters the cell, now without his imposing armor. Without the metal mask, he appears younger but no less intimidating, his muscular frame and piercing golden eyes dominating the small space. Serafina, deciding to face her end with dignity, formally introduces herself as the daughter of the former Lord Mattius and commander of the Expeditionary Force. She defiantly tells him to proceed with his sacrifice. Vior, however, is genuinely confused by her words. He reveals the true reason for her capture. He has brought her there to be his bride. He explains that in his clan, it is an ancient tradition to take strong lady knights as wives. He admits that during their duel, he was so impressed by the sincerity of her swordsmanship that he fell for her instantly. Serafina is completely blindsided, her face flushing with a mix of shock and absolute outrage at the insane logic of a man wanting to marry his enemy. Vior ignores her protests, telling her they will speak again later as he leaves her to process this surreal turn of events. Circe bluntly confirms the situation. To explain Serafina's deep-seated hatred for the East and her sense of duty, the story flashes back 7 years to the Ildoran capital. Serafina is seen with her brother, Margrave Sidious de Lavillon, who officially appoints her as a captain for the new expedition. We see her navigating the treacherous social waters of a noble banquet, where other high-ranking ladies mock her for her military ambitions, suggesting that a woman's only true happiness lies in marriage and managing a household. Serafina quietly bristles at their shallow worldview, firmly believing that her service is necessary for the kingdom's survival. Later that night, while traveling through the city, her carriage is stopped by a group of starving, desperate citizens attempting to steal food. Rather than punishing them with the full weight of the law, Serafina shows a compassionate side. She stops her guards from attacking and gives the thieves her own expensive ruby necklace, telling them to use it to feed their children. She asks them to endure their hardships a little longer, vowing that she will conquer the East, specifically to bring back the resources needed to ensure no one in the kingdom has to go hungry again. This scene underscores her noble spirit. She isn't fighting for glory, but for the welfare of her people. The episode concludes by returning to the barbarian village at sunset. Serafina wakes up from what she hopes was a nightmare, only to find herself lying on a sleeping mat in a simple wooden hut. To her absolute horror, she turns her head to find a shirtless, heavily muscled Veor sleeping soundly right next to her, his loud snoring echoing in the small room. The reality that she is now essentially the wife of the barbarian king finally sinks in.